Now to Turkey, where it's thought that the imprisoned leader of a Kurdish military separatist group is about to call on his movement to disarm. A delegation of Kurdish politicians is due to meet with Abdullah Ocalan today, and they're expected to bring back what they're calling a historic declaration. The Turkish government hopes he'll urge the Kurdish Workers Party, or PKK, to end its decades-long insurgency. The PKK has been designated a terror group by the US and the EU.
This man has spent the last 25 years in prison as Turkey's public enemy number one, Abdullah Ocalan, the founder of the militant group PKK. But now there are signs that he could be released as part of a new attempt by the Turkish government to end more than 40 years of fighting with the outlawed Kurdistan Workers Party, or PKK. It's a conflict that has claimed tens of thousands of lives.
All of our people on all sides have suffered greatly and paid a heavy price due to terrorism. The time has come to put an end to this pain once and for all. Today is the day to push the doors to peace wide open.
The PKK has waged an armed insurgency against the Turkish state since 1984. Over the years, it rolled back on its initial demands for an independent state, calling instead for more autonomy and political rights for Turkey's Kurds. The group is designated a terrorist organization by Ankara and its Western allies. But there's a lot of guesswork here in Turkey as to what's behind the most recent peace effort. Let's look at two possible explanations. It all started in October, when President Erdogan's ultra-nationalist ally Devlet Bahçeli suggested that Öcalan could be granted parole if he renounced violence and disbanded the PKK. A completely unexpected move, because Bahçeli had so far opposed any concessions to Öcalan or the group. But since then, Öcalan has been allowed to receive his first political visit in nearly a decade. The 75-year-old told this delegation of Kurdish politicians that he may call for the PKK to lay down its arms.
I am ready to take the necessary positive steps and make the call. This is an era of peace, democracy and brotherhood for Turkey and the region.
Öcalan is still revered by many Kurds, who make up an estimated 15 to 20% of Turkey's 85 million citizens. Reconciliation with him could be an attempt by Erdogan's government, some analysts say, to garner Kurdish support for a new constitution that would allow the president to remain in power beyond 2028, when his term ends.
He will tell that, okay, we ended this war. No one can do it, but we did it. We achieved it. So it will put Erdogan in another place. He will increase his strong leader image both among Kurds and Turks.
The second explanation has to do with geopolitical changes and heightened insecurity in the Middle East. In neighboring Syria, power balances have shifted following the ouster of Bashar al-Assad, and Turkey is trying to diminish the influence of Kurdish forces there, which it views as PKK-affiliated terrorists.
Turkey would like to somehow divide this Kurdish axis in Syria, and they see that any kind of solution within Turkey also will impact what will happen in Syria.
Over the years, Erdogan's government has made several efforts to end the conflict with the PKK, but none have yielded results. The last peace process and a ceasefire collapsed in 2015. Since then, the government has arrested thousands of people over alleged links to the PKK. Ankara has been criticized for reducing the Kurdish question to little more than a terror issue, without taking into account the demands of its Kurdish population.
Nowadays, there is no space for Kurds to make politics. And most of Kurdish politicians, they are behind the bars. And there are so many restrictions toward Kurdish people, and they suffered a lot. Without democratization, we cannot solve Kurdish question.
The Turkish government has not yet presented any concrete plans for negotiations. But lasting peace, observers say, is likely to require more than releasing Öcalan and silencing the guns.